Yo, what is up, guys? I'm back. Big day for me. I got a lot of stuff going on. My cat is starting to get better, hopefully pretty soon here, which means I'm going to be able to finally start consistently posting like I said I was going to. And speaking of consistently posting, do got a schedule coming up that I will definitely let you guys know exactly what it's going to be looking like after I get everything set up. That out of the way, I'm sure everyone... Oh, wait. Another thing. Don't yell at me. This is all my bedding. Bed needs to get cleaned, so I'm washing the sheets. Don't get mad. I'm a clean boy. Well, I'm mostly clean, but it is what it is. Also, don't mind my decrepit look. I've been up for way too long for the past few days trying to beat the fucking Elden Ring boss. Big news, though, like I was saying. Big news. I'm sure everyone around the world's heard about it by now. And yep, I'm talking about the big one. Overwatch 2 got a new update, baby. Yes, sir. In all seriousness, Overwatch 2 been a game on my channel. If you've been following, you know I'm not a huge fan of it right now. And to be honest with you, that still hasn't changed. However, there is one saving grace that I have found in this entire game. For the first time since Overwatch 2 launched, I'm having fun in the game. Significant amount of fun as well. And that's with this new quick play hacked, which this quick play hacked adds pickable role passives, okay? And man, oh man, did the game clearly, in my opinion, need something like this. It just adds a lot of fun to the game, and I really appreciate that because, honestly, it's Overwatch. There's not much fun to be had there right now. And let's just go into it, okay? Shout out to, what is his name? His name is Thoxo, Thoxo. And he compiled all of the passives from the new quick play hacked for every role. I will fully also admit before I go into my rant about all of these, well, not even a rant, well, I guess it is. I'm a tank main, Reinhardt main specifically, but I've played all of the roles with this. I've played every single passive, and I've tried multiple different characters with the tank one especially, so we'll talk about it kind of in depth. First thing first, okay, we've got tanks, which have the first passive being unyielding. Duration of debuffs reduced by 40%. This one, super nice for pretty much all of the tanks, but the ones that I found that benefited the most from it are kind of obvious. Wrecking Ball and Doomfist. Characters that get hit with a lot of CC abilities and stuns and all of that. So much more fun to play with this. I played against a Doomfist who is actually able to beat me down because he was actually not getting stunned constantly. Great feeling. Great feeling. When I played Ball, I had a blast playing Ball because it was the first time in months where it felt like I wasn't getting slept constantly and hit with 1,000,001 stuns. Very fun. Then we've got Armored, which converts 100 of health into armor. Holy shit, is this thing insane on Reinhardt. Maybe my lobbies are just bad because I took a pretty long break there, but I was literally unstoppable. I played multiple games with this one because this ended up being my favorite out of all of them as a Reinhardt player, and I was able to actually play against a Bastion without just straight up throwing. And I know people are gonna be like, you're just bad. Fuck you. Anyone knows Bastion is just a piece of shit to play against as Reinhardt. He just is. It's not fun because he just shreds your shield and then you kind of just gotta back up. With this passive, he will shred your shield still, but you know what he isn't doing? He is not gonna die. This man is gonna be able to rush you down because you have so much health that you can... Honestly, I didn't die from the Bastion. The only time I died was when I got ulted by a Junker Queen. Really fun one. I love the armored passive. I think it's great. And Last Stand, which is a 50% cooldown reduction when below 50% HP. I found this to be absolutely busted on Junker Queen. Well, busted may be exaggerating, but it's really good on Junker Queen and Doom once again. Really fun on both of them. I will go into deeper thoughts about like this whole system at the end of the video. I kind of just want to get over all the passives. Next one we've got is for damage, which I will fully admit, I probably played the least with the damage one because I'm just not a damage player. I'm just not. That being said, I did play with, I believe it was Reaper. I think I tried Echo. And I think and I tried Cass. So Slayer can see critical health enemies through walls. I'll be honest with you, this is probably the most useless of the three for damage. I don't really see a case where it's going to be better than the other two. Even the only one I can really think of is like snipers, but also if they're critical health, they shouldn't be peaking. So like, I don't know. I just don't think it's very good. I would like to, if we get another version of this, I would love to see it get replaced with something a little bit more, you know, fun and enjoyable. But it's all right. Frenzy is eliminations grant you a brief 30-second speed boost. I played this with, I believe, oh yeah, I did. So I did play that. I played that with Genji. And dude, holy shit, Genji's actually fun with this passive because you just move, you just schmoovin constantly. Really, really fun. I'm sure it's also very good on Tracer and any other dive type characters. Super fun though. I had a blast with the 30% speed boost. Honestly, it was probably the most fun out of all the DPS ones. But that's not to say that I don't like the next one, which is Trigger Happy, which increases ammo capacity by 20. I tried this with Cass. It's really, really fun. I'm not gonna lie. And with Reaper, because you just feel like you have more options, which is super nice. And then also something I really like about this, and I'll go into it a little bit deeper at the end here. But I really like how you can kind of vary the passive based on your play style. Like for example, I'm a really shit Junkrat player, but if you give me 20% more mines, or not mine, well, I guess he does shoot mines. If you give me 20% more ammo, I start to be able to do a lot more because I have more shots, I'm hitting more shots, I'm more spammable. I love this, to be honest. I think it's really good. Now, let's go into the one that I played the second most, which is support. The first one is resourceful. Dude, Moira with the resourceful passive fucking slaps, by the way, and Brig. I also played with Brig. Really, really good, both of them. Very fun as well, might I add, because it just feels like you get sped up, essentially. The whole game feels sped up for you. I liked it quite a bit. Swift Step, or Jesus, Kiriko is giving me PTSD. Swift Save increases healing by 50% for targets below 35% HP. I tried this with Ana. Really, really fun because it felt like I didn't have to heal as much. I could kind of look away for a second and let them get down to critical-ish health, and I just turn and look at them and I shoot them a bunch and I get healed super fast, which is really, really cool. Then the last one, which is probably the one I had the least fun on, with Sport, which is Close Call. You gain a brief 20% speed boost when below 50% HP. Makes sense, but to be honest with you, supports don't really need that most of the time. The only one who I think it could possibly be useful for is like Ana, but 90% of the supports have some like absolutely busted way of keeping themselves alive, and or they have some absolutely busted way of just running away, which is, yeah, that makes sense. So personally, wasn't super useful on that one. Wasn't sold. Man, wow, everything, all my Steam notifications coming through. But now let's just kind of talk about him overall. First of all, tank feels so much better. And I mean so much better. Like, we went from me contemplating quitting the game permanently to I'm actually having a lot of fun playing tank again. Is it perfect? No. There's still definitely problems, and there's certain cases where it just doesn't feel good. And unfortunately, I think that's just part of the 5v5 format. This isn't a 5v5 versus 6v6 thing. I prefer 6v6, but I'm not even going to bring it up here because I've just heard fucking a million times. But I want to also mention that if we are going to stay in 5v5, I think tank, at least tank, needs something like this. Because if you're going to be getting countered constantly and you have no other like way of playing around it other than to just counter back, it's miserable. Anyone will tell you that. It's just not fun. No one opens Overwatch and is like, yeah, I really want to play every single character and counter the enemy guys every single game. No one wants that. In fact, I don't even think people want it in one game. I don't want it in one game, at least. And something like this helps give you counterplay to the counterplay in this game, which, for example, I was able to play Reinhardt and a Bastion and actually make it work really, really well. I was also able to play Junker Queen and make it work really, really well. I was also able to play Doomfist and make it work really, really well. even against his counters like Ana or Sombra. I was also able to play a bunch of other characters into their counters. And you want to know why? It's because I have some way of fighting back while remaining on the same character. I do think I will talk about my other idea that I think would be really fun added on in tandem with this system. But for tanks specifically, this, if we're gonna stick in 5v5, which I'm fine with, I really think we should consider something like this permanently in the game, because it just makes the game feel so much better. And I'm sure for the casual experience, it feels better too. I mean, I kind of am the casual player at this point. Very, very fun. It just gives you another layer of depth to the game, which I know some people are gonna be like, the game's already too complicated. We can't have fun. We're playing fucking Overwatch, dog. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. This shit is already the most complicated shooter on the market. And I know people are gonna be like, but that's just adding to my point because Overwatch is complicated. Yeah, not everything is made for fucking everybody, guys. I hate this mentality of everything has to be made for everybody. Some games aren't for you, bro. They just aren't. So stop trying to make it for everyone. Very fun though for tanks. Damage, fun. Not as much fun as the tank I felt. Probably because I think tank was so miserable before, and this gives you a way to fight back. So DPS didn't feel as impactful with it. Not to mention there are just some characters like Hanzo who kind of just get cucked. Can't really do anything with any of the passives. But I actually had a really, really fun time still playing damage. I'm not a good damage player by any means, but I found myself able to feel like I was fighting a little bit better. And then for support, I think this is way better than, honestly, if my only like complaints I have, which we'll just go into them now. First, the biggest one, the readability would need to be better if this was permanent. We would need like little icons maybe that show which passive you've chosen. So that way it's like, oh, the enemy tank is Doomfist and he picked Last Stand, which gives him 50% cooldown reduction when below 50% HP. Okay, I'm just gonna keep that in mind, and then you keep that in mind, or you can do the same for every other role. I think that is important because it is just genuinely, it makes it kind of hard to understand. I think that would add a lot. Second complaint, there are some on here, like once again, I really think specifically critical health enemies through walls and close call are kind of just boring. They're not super fun. I would say we should probably replace them with something a bit more fun. Third complaint is a bit less gameplay oriented. It's just the fact that we didn't really have enough time to test this, in my opinion, because obviously it's only been out for like a day or two now and it's only gonna stay another day, which obviously means that it's kind of just first impressions. But honestly, first impressions, this is a very fun idea, at least. I think it would greatly help the game. I also do have my own little spin that I think would be interesting, as it would likely completely stop the counter swapping problem. What if we made these passives scale with how, like, you level them up essentially, okay? So I know people are gonna be like, it's too complicated. You're just making it significantly more complicated. I agree. Is that you? Are you a baby? Don't be a baby. Be a big man and learn, okay? That's what games and life is about, okay? Learning. And I will say, if we had levels to this, I think it would be really fun, especially if the levels reset when you swapped off a character and it built up throughout just the game, like maybe over time, maybe you build it up from kills or whatever. You level it up somehow and the passives just get better. Like, for example, you start off with the duration of debuffs being reduced by 40% for tanks, for example. But instead of it starting there, it starts at, let's say, 20%. And it's like, okay, not exactly super useful, but still good. And then you get it to level 2, let's say. We'll do it at 3 levels just to keep it, consistent. And it's reduced by 40%. And you're like, okay, this is A+. This is real good now. And if you can get it all the way to 3, 60%. See what I'm saying? Where you get it to go even higher than it currently is. But the add-on to this would be if you swap, it resets back to 0. So that, in my opinion, would really solve a lot of the problems the game is having right now. This would reduce counterplay as being as much of a problem, okay? Because honestly, right now, the biggest problem with Overwatch, too many ways to get counterplayed. You get counterpicked, enemy team just focuses you down. It's just not fun. And it's not fun for anyone. Adding a leveling system to this would pretty much, in my opinion, it would eliminate pretty much counter swapping, which I know some people are gonna be like, well, it's a part of the game. You could still do it. And in fact, sometimes it would still be worth it. Like, for example, they're running a Hog. You swap to Ana like halfway through the game, and you know that their supports are leveled up enough to the point where they don't really want to swap to Kiriko or whatever. You're actually going to be able to make more of an impact from swapping. But there's a trade-off to it, which is the game currently doesn't have. There's pretty much no trade-off to counter swapping other than you lose your ult, which isn't a big thing. I think it would add a lot, and I'm not saying that's like perfect or anything. Don't come here and be like, you're stupid, actually. This idea is dumb. Well, actually, fuck it. You can say it's dumb. I don't give a shit. But don't act like this was me brainstorming for like 10 months trying to figure out a really fun way to fix counter picking or whatever. I just think it would be a fun little thing to experiment with like this. Honestly, though, overall, my thoughts, this is so much better than the current passive system we have. Because in my opinion, one of the big problems with the passives right now, they're just not balanced. Like, they're just not. Because obviously, first of all, some characters get hit way harder by passives, others get hit way less. Like, for example, Hanzo literally didn't get a passive for like a really long time. Bro just didn't get one. Now, well, okay, that was kind of a bad example because he's still not really getting them, but in an ideal world, right, you would have these options instead where it's like, okay, I can kind of control my build essentially around what is happening to me in the game currently. Like, for example, Ball, you're getting hit with a lot of stuns. All right, swap it to the duration of debuffs, and that will be super useful for you. Very, very fun. I don't really have like any gameplay complaints. I can assume that like competitive players are probably like, it is not balanced, not balanced, not balanced, not balanced. Bro, you mean the quick play hacked for 2 days isn't balanced? That's crazy. And I do think it would have some pretty severe balance problems, but honestly, I don't care. Balancing is so fucking boring. Like, if someone's really broken, tune that shit down. But honestly, balancing is part of the reason why I'm starting to hate Overwatch, because it's just constant. This guy's good, then this guy's bad, then this guy's good, then this guy's bad, then this guy's good, then this guy's bad. And it's like, that's so boring, bro. I don't, just stop. add fun things to the game, and this is fun. Let me think if I have anything else about it. Oh, I would say change it. I would change up the Slayer passive for DPS, and I would also change up Close Call for support, because I don't think they're exactly like fun or interesting or like gonna help you really in the game. I think they're just kind of eh. But otherwise, actually good. Actually big Blizzard W, which is very rare, so you get my praise, Blizzard. I know I shit on you guys a lot, but this was good. You cooked here. I only hope that you actually take what you cooked and you improve upon it. You see that people enjoyed it and you're like, all right, maybe we can consider putting this into the game. I do think, honestly, you should just put the tanks. Tanks should just be able to do this right now. I'm not gonna lie, because as soon as this stops, I'm not gonna play Overwatch again probably until whenever they fix tank and or address 6v6. With that being said, I'll see you guys about Overwatch again when they talk about 6v6 probably. And then on a side note thing, like I said at the beginning, finally got my schedules all getting set up finally. I'm getting set up permanently for a semi long time. The only thing I'm really stuck waiting for is my cat to get a little bit better from his illness. As soon as he's better, I am going to start posting consistently on the channel again. I have a whole thing scheduled out. I'm currently working on making sure I'm going to be able to do it. It's going to be a lot of different stuff. I'll let you know. It's still going to be gaming. Also a lot of different stuff, not gaming related, but it's still mostly a gamer channel. And yeah, thank you for watching. That's about it. Later.